Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent. How is everyone?
Great.
Lovely.
All right, good to go.
Okay, thanks, David. All righty, good evening. Our meeting will come to order. Welcome to the November 15th, 2021 regular meeting of the West Hartford Commission of the Arts. My name is Chuck Corsi, and I'm the chair of the West Hartford Commission of the Arts. This meeting is being conducted in a virtual format in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act as amended by Public Act number 21-2, which authorizes municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Members of the public can view the meeting live on West Hartford Community Television at www.whctv.org and www.youtube/WHCTV5. The meeting is also being recorded for on-demand viewing and will be available on the town's website for at least 45 days. Since we are conducting this meeting in a virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your device when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you in the order I see hands raised. If you are participating by audio only or I do not call on you and the debate is ending, then unmute your phone and let me know so I can recognize you. Second, all speakers must make a good faith effort to state the person's name and title at the outset of each occasion that such person participates in the meeting. Third, all votes must be taken by roll call unless the vote is unanimous. Fourth, a reminder that if any participant has a problem with connectivity, you should immediately call David Petrella, our lovely host, whose phone number you were provided earlier. He will let you know. He will let me know, and we will recess the meeting while the problem is resolved. If it cannot be resolved quickly, we will ask you to call into the meeting using the phone and participate via audio only. All righty, let's proceed with our agenda. Okay. So I'm gonna let's do the roll call. So okay, Karen Bachman.
Present.
Matthew Bragg. Javier Colon.
Here.
Chuck Corsi is here. Latanya Farrell.
Here.
Nancy Hoffman. Carol McCabe.
Here.
Mirela Pineda-Sor.
Here.
And Susan Rothenberg.
Here.
Okay. You got that, Mirela? All righty. Okay, first off, you should all have a copy of the minutes. Did everybody get those? I'm made doodly sure I had everybody's email, right? Anybody didn't have a chance, didn't get them? If hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes from October 18th, 2021? I see Nancy.
I move to approve.
I see Karen has her hand. Thank you, Karen. Is there a second? Sue,
I second.
Great, thank you. All in favor? Is this unanimous? Does anybody vote no? Okay, we don't have to do a roll call then. Passage unanimous. Excellent. So moving right along at lightning quick speed. Old business. The future development of St. Brigid School. You might have heard or saw in the news the other day that the town received some money from the state of Connecticut, which is great. What we need to be thinking about, and there's not a deadline for this, but in your conversations with others in your various communities that you're a part of, I think it's important as folks, representatives to the arts and culture communities, to find out what people are looking for in a facility like that. It's a community center, similar to what has been at the Elmwood Community Center. But I know in speaking to some folks there, people have a wish list. Obviously, I think one of the things I wish the town had is a large symphony hall. We're not going to have one here, not a large one, a place for graduation. But if you talk to folks and they're interested in performance space or maybe storage space. I know the symphony orchestra is looking for storage space. A place where groups can store risers, equipment, that sort of thing. Maybe small performance spaces. I mean, we're not going to be the ones deciding on what goes in there or not, but I'm sure that our input would be appreciated, given that we're out there talking to folks. And then as I hear of timelines, I haven't heard of any timelines yet, but I would anticipate that probably in the first quarter, first half of 2022, the town is going to start talking about and looking for input as to, community input as to what folks want to see there. Does anybody have any questions about that?
It's not really a question. When I read that article, it said something about appointing an advisory group from the community to help them with deciding what kind of space, how to use the space. I don't know. Do you know anything about that, Chuck?
I don't. I think it was, the way I read it was more of an advisory group to do outreach, to find out what the community, to kind of take public input.
Okay.
Whatever happens there is the decision of the town council.
Sure.
But I think they're going to be looking for input, and I think a citizens advisory committee would be a good idea to get that kind of input. But I haven't heard anything on details of that. But again, I do think this is an important commission. I think that's what we're here for, to provide our input. And once I think there's a better charge from the town to the community, we can help with that.
Okay.
Rich Sharapa really wants that storage space. He's got, I think, Mirela, you guys have equipment stored at multiple different locations.
That's correct. And sometimes that makes all the concert preparedness, a pain, because we rely on volunteers, and send a volunteer to this location, and then you ask the same volunteer to go in a different direction, and that is not easy.
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
We have these wonderful risers that we're about to try to use at a December concert, but we don't really have consistent storage for that. So I got my fingers crossed for storage.
Excellent. All righty. Well, do what you guys do best. Talk to folks in the community, groups you're with, and we'll go from there. And I'll let you know once I hear more. Okay, moving right along. The terms of commissioners. Very interesting. We weren't, talking to Essie LeBreau, who says, because Nancy will be leaving us at the end of the year, and obviously we'll give her a proper send-off at our December meeting, but I appreciate her work on the commission. But we need a representative from the minority party that's represented in town. And until last election, we weren't sure if that was going to be the Democratic. If the Democrats were in the minority, it would have kind of reworked the whole formula of new members. But if the Connecticut party had gotten 2 seats on the council, they would have been the new minority party. So they would have been the ones where the new selection would come from. So right now, it's as the world was, the next member of our commission will be submitted recommended by the Republicans on the town council. If you have any friends, any Republican friends that are interested in serving on this commission, I'd encourage you to let me know and send them along to me. Get big boots to fill in Nancy's, but I'm sure we'll get somebody from the community who will do a great job. Any questions on that? No questions. Okay, I'm sorry. I was covering your faces with my agenda, so I couldn't see. Next on the list, have any update on the possible annual music event? Do we need to keep that up there, or do you want to? Should I take that off and then you can update us as if something does come of it, or if there's anything we can do to help?
Yeah, that's fine. Before I continue, I'm having a hard time hearing some of you guys. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but if I get disconnected, I'll jump back on. But I actually did have a conversation with my my friend slash partner who I would be potentially doing this with today, and he has a couple other folks that he wants to run a few things by, but he's hopeful that we could possibly put something together for this coming summer. But there's still some I's to dot and T's to cross, well before we can get to that point. But he's excited about the possibility, and he's going to have a conversation this coming week with some of his other partners who would be potentially joining us in the venture. And I will hopefully have something to report next time we connect.
Okay, great. Excellent. Mirela, anything on the Winter Festival?
Everybody's frozen.
No updates yet. We focused our entire efforts towards the holiday stroll and making that possible. So once that we're past that, I hope that I could reach out to other people in town and start that planning. It's it's for next year. This year, yes.
That's great. We'll get to the holiday stroll in a little bit, but that's great.
And perhaps it would be best if we could drop that off the agenda, and I'll update.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, thanks.
It is done. Okay, do we have any committee updates from any of the committees? I don't think. I know, Karen, you wanted to talk about banners, but we can do that in new business. How's that sound?
Sure, I can also give you an update on the Arts and Culture Collaborative.
Oh, that's good. That's great. Yeah, you want to give it to us now?
Sure, if that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had our meeting. We meet every other month. So we're not exactly in sync with this committee, but we had our meeting last week. And we've been working on trying to find a way to promote the holiday events going on, like take a look at how many things are going on in a given 5-week period or 4-week period, and then promote them. So we actually, through a group effort, got a press release together. We've been calling it the combined press release. So there are about 8 organizations or 6 organizations that are running things in what we term the holiday season, starting next weekend with the event of the the Art League. We were kind of holding the article to see if the ballet theater company and the symphony, the thing Mirela's been working on, the little performance at Holiday Stroll, the combined performance was going to be a go. And once we had that, then we could move forward with the release. So it's a nice release. It's quite long. It has nice pictures in it. And it's been sent out, I think, between Natalie from the Playhouse, she's their advertising and PR person, and Stephanie DeTellis from the ballet company. It's been sent to a lot of media outlets, and it actually was picked up the other day by something called Broadway. Ah, shoot, I can't remember the whole name. It was an odd place for a women's chorale to be picked up, but they picked up one nice picture of the ballet and the entire article. It was picked up by the Current. However, they left part of the article out, and Natalie is going to work with them because they have a good relationship to see if they can include the whole article, because it looks pretty good for our town, how many exciting things are going on in the next few weeks. I can send you the link from the Broadway one, though, because I'll send it all to you. It's kind of fun to see us at such a bigger, I think it might be some kind of an online
Yeah.
thing rather than an actual media paper or something like that. But it should be popping up here and there. And you'll be surprised, and write down some of the events on your calendar starting this week with the Art League. I don't want to go into everything everyone's doing because I sort of know it by heart after writing the article, but it was I think a good thing for the committee to focus on, and a nice project in a positive, forward-looking way, as opposed to reacting to COVID and some of the things that helped us get started in the beginning. Everybody's doing pretty good. Everybody's offering live events coming up and planning for the future. Many of them have already been offering live events, but it's nice to see that we're coming back to some sense of normalcy with a lot of, cautiousness about COVID. The theater, we're going to be requiring it, and I believe the symphony required confirmation of COVID vaccine and wearing masks. So that's kind of the norm for most of the venues opening up, except for venues that are more outside, like the Art League. So I guess that's it. We have a joint poster too, but I'm not sure you're going to see that. That's a little slower in the getting off the ground, and before we know it, everyone will be having their events. So, but it's nice because it begins to send the message that the arts and culture community is really a community.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll continue to do things like that. And I do have one more coming from that meeting, something they asked me to bring here, which I will wait till new business.
Okay, great. I think that press release, that's great, Karen, because one of the objectives was to try and get the collaboration between the different arts and cultural organizations in town, and that's really great to see everybody working together like that.
It was.
That's wonderful. Thanks for your hard work on that. Yes, Mirela.
Yes, that's what I wanted to point out. Thank you, Karen, for putting it all together, because it was quite of a job. Thank you.
Everybody has their 3 or 4 cents they want to add, which is fine. It's fine.
Carol?
Karen, will that be on the WeHot.com?
I hope so. We sent it there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I expected to see it today, but because it was a really short WeHot, but I didn't see it. So keep looking.
Yeah.
And if we get that current article revised, and I'll send that out to you too, so you'll see it. That's exciting to be in our main paper, I think. But
Absolutely.
yeah, as a paper reader, but of course for a certain population, it's more exciting to be somewhere else. But we're putting it all out to our e-lists and our our Facebooks and that kind of thing. So it's going out to a lot of people, and it will benefit everybody. There's a lot of good events going on.
That's great. Fabulous. Excellent work. Thank you, Karen. Wow, that's a nice segue into the exciting collaboration that's going to be happening at the Holiday Stroll. Want to give us an update on that, Mirela?
Sure. So the West Hartford Symphony Quartet's already met a number of times to rehearse, and we're sounding good. We are going to meet for the first time with the ballet company this coming Sunday and rehearse together in the space where the event will take place at a town center, right across from Crate and Barrel. I think we're right there across. So we're planning on having people at the door greet and meet and reach her up, hopefully being able to be there with us, talking to people. And
What are the times, Mirela? I know there are 2 times for this,
so we
for the show.
perform twice at 5:30, and then take a little break, and then we'll perform again at 6:30. So there are excerpts from the Nutcracker, not the whole thing, but it's just going to be lovely. So I invite you all, if you could stop by and wave at us.
That's great. Go
And
ahead,
I
yes.
was, I was just gonna ask, where is the location? Did you say it's the upper level of Crate and Barrel?
No, 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 no. It's right across from Crate and Barrel on the town center. It's that building that has a clock in front of the entrance.
It has the coffee place on the corner. Well, I forget the name of it, but the new coffee place.
Okay, thanks.
Where's it? Really? They got a coffee place in there?
Yeah, it's called the Copper. It's a cute name. Yeah,
Oh,
really,
nice.
it's good. It's a good place. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Excellent. And Mirela, people, as what happens at the stroll, a lot of times people kind of come and go. So people, it's not going to break the ambiance if people come in for a few minutes to watch and then move along on their way.
No, so the doors will be open for everyone to come in and out. We'll be performing a little bit in the back of the hallway to allow
Yeah.
people access and ease of moving around. And hopefully, this is just the beginning of something that we could continue in the years to come.
Yeah. That's great. Another
It's
great
good.
collaboration. And also, maybe this might be a further opportunity. Bruce Simons from Figure Eight Properties. He's one of the, his company owns that. They also own a lot of other buildings around town. So it's always good to develop these relationships with these folks that may not be, well, they probably are lovers of the arts, but they just don't know it yet. And if we can get in there and show them how wonderful it is, and I think it's a benefit to their, themselves also in their space. I think that it'll work out really well.
We'll help them get to love art more.
Yes, yes.
Well, 2 years back, I think it was, is the last time the chorale, the women's chorale, performed there in the center,
Yeah.
where we decided that it wasn't the right venue for us. It's freezing cold, and Santa's right behind us, and it's a lot of competition for the mics and whatever. But we would warm up in that space, and people always came through and always stopped to listen. So you'll get business because people are also coming from the parking lots or going back to the parking lots. So it'll be fun. It'll work out nicely, I think.
Great. We're looking forward to that.
That's great. All righty, moving right along. New business.
Okay.
I actually had an interesting conversation with our town clerk. They've been taking a look at some of the art and displays that you'd find around town hall, as well as some of the signage. And they've come to and this is something they've been thinking about for a while, post or pre-pandemic, in that some of the artwork and displays that are up in town hall are a little maybe outdated. There was a beautiful photo display that was up, but it was up for I think about 6 years over on the Board of Education floor. But to make a long story short, SE has asked us, the Arts Commission, if we would, take a look and maybe make some recommendations as to, a policy for the town, one in what goes up. As you can imagine, there's a lot of, if you've ever been to town hall, you may see a lot of different things that are displayed on the wall. And some of them, as time goes on, may not be as timely. I'm trying to think of a good word. I mean, so they're looking for a policy. How long should artwork and displays on the walls be allowed to be there? How often should they be changed? What sort of criteria there should be? What should be the focus? What I'm going to do is what I'd like you all to do is think about that. I have my own thoughts. I'd love to. I'm kind of a history nerd. I like the fact of showcasing some of our history in town. The fact that that building once was our only high school. But I also think, that's kind of the past, but I also think in terms of the present, I think it's important to showcase the diversity of our town and the different cultures that are in the town, and also, different types of art. And also, and I think they've done this in the past, is, some of the works and art from some of our students. Because really that's what it's all of, I think, the most important thing in our town. I mean, there's lots of important things, but really our schools are the bedrock, and our children are the future. Without great schools and preparing our kids, we're really we're nothing, and we do educate our kids so well. So to make a long story, I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but think about for our next meeting, and we can have a further discussion then about the sort of things and criteria that you'd would think would be appropriate. I know also that they want to formulate a donation policy. I know the library has run into this same problem a lot of times. People will want to donate things, but sometimes they're not usable, and there needs to be a clear expectation that when somebody donates something to the town, what sort of donations they'll accept in the first place, and how long, if there was determined that something would be displayed, who's going to make the decision, what's the criteria for displaying something. I would think not all, the town is not open for donations and looking for people to donate things that may not fit the criteria of what the town might see appropriate for display items. I'd encourage you, next, if you're in the neighborhood, take a walk around town hall. It's open, and you'll kind of see what I mean. There's some wonderful things there. Another problem that they have, though, is their signage, I think, is awful. They a lot of times signage is taped up, scribbled notes, blood drive this way, or vote this way, or pay your parking tickets over here. I think they can do a better job on signage, and that would be something that we might want to recommend. And then finally, kind of a wayfinding with room numbers. It's a pretty confusing building, because a lot of times you enter in on the side and you're entering onto the second floor, or the third, or second or third floor even, and it gets a little confusing, and some of the signage for the different offices is not consistent. So just some things to think about. Um, I will send an email to all of you, just kind of follow up the conversation with a little bit more structured conversation, and that, or structured plan of what we want to think about, instead of my ramblings today. But I'd ask you to save your thoughts. We don't want to get into a back and forth on email. How about this? How about that? We want to do that all at these meetings. So,
Are they willing to throw a little money into it, like some of the money that they're holding for capital improvements or whatever that is coming from recovery funds? Like to invest in
I don't think this is not a, I think whatever is done, it's got to be done cost effectively.
Okay,
think there
I
are
was
some
just
things-
thinking, well, like when you walk into some town halls, there's an electronic display.
Yeah.
Almost like you see on the community access channel.
Yeah.
You know, there's a picture, it might be of something or someone, but and then it's a graphic, and then there's the information below, and then another picture comes up. I've seen that in other
Oh
places.
yeah,
It's very
the library
effective.
has a great one, great digital.
Library has one. That may be where I've seen it
Yeah.
recently. Yeah, but that's the sort of thing, people going in and out of there could understand what's going on this week. You know, who's here, who's playing, who's singing, who's I don't know. It's just an idea.
All
That's why I
sorts of
asked
things.
about the
I mean,
money.
and it can be changed every. I agree, Karen. I think they have to. I mean, that's one of the things that I think needs to be done, because they do have a couple of directories when you walk in there, but they're, you know,
They're from the 1960s.
yeah, they're falling apart. It doesn't. It's not a nice welcome to somebody coming to town to look. But this is whatever's going to be done is. I'm sure the town is going to, you know, this is not going to come from. Well, I don't want to speak for the town. That's their business, but it's not a big. It's going to be done very cost effectively, and I would anticipate that grants might be available out there to do something like this. And also don't, you know, go back to the donations. I think there's plenty. You know, we have great artists in our schools. That should be recognized, and this might be a great way to recognize student artists. But again, we'll get more into the details. But that's one of the things that a pet peeve of mine walking into the town hall and the you know, signage and some of the makeshift sign. I mean, it's nobody's fault. It's something that hasn't been addressed in a long time. Yes, Sue.
Did SC say, is the majority of the artwork, is it donated, or is sometimes it's brought on loan to the town hall?
I believe a lot of the student artwork, and you'll see that in the council chambers and with the town council and board of ed, that's donated from the schools. There's some really great pieces in there, but some of the artwork has been there. You know, I guess some of the artists are already out of college.
Grandparents.
And they might have done them when they were in elementary or middle school. And you know, I'm sure parents wouldn't mind getting some of that stuff back too. But that's the sort of thing. It's like, how often do you rotate that and change it? Who curates it? I mean, that's another thing. Who does, you know? You don't want to just put up things haphazard. It's like, oh, we just got this great thing. Let's just put it up on the wall somewhere. Hav.
I was going to just add. So my kids haven't gone to Charter Oak. I know pretty much all of my kids my three that went through there had artwork displayed at the town hall at one point. I don't know who the point person was for that. I don't know how that was established. You know what artwork went and what artwork didn't go, but I can try to find out and see if there is, find out whoever their liaison was at the town hall and see if kind of just what the process is. If you'd like me to.
Yeah, I would think I would be. I think it'd be good to find out what they think the process should be, because it's been kind of, we know what the process has been from the town side, and it's kind of been ad hoc. And you know, it's whatever happens in the moment. It's not a clear, thought out policy. So that's what they're looking at us to kind of come up with, or to recommend. Again, the town council, they have the final call on everything, but I think they're looking for some guidance, because really, you know, what's been happening has been kind of inconsistent, and no kind of formal policy. I don't think there's been any real problems, but you know, I think it's a good idea, or at least Essie and the town think it's a good idea to have a policy in place that we can adhere to. So I'd ask them, what do you suggest? I mean, how do we make sure that every school gets represented? Do we rotate it? Do we do, 3 elementary schools one year, 3 the next, and rotate it? But then you get into, okay, that's a lot of rotating and changing. Who's to manage it from the town side?
There's somebody in the town hall, but I think it came from the art teachers. Having worked at Smith School for many years, I was friends with the art teacher. Each elementary has as do the high schools in the middle, they have an art show, usually in May.
Yeah.
And they mount it very fancy in the school, and the parents come. They usually have an event attached to it, like parent night or something like that. But I think the art comes out of those. Not every kid goes to the town hall, but the teacher makes some choices, and they're told they need 4 pictures from your school.
That was my recollection too, Karen. I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yes, it was from the art shows.
The art shows. So there was,
Which is not a bad idea either,
Oh yeah.
Just go.
and there was something in place, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
exists, but then it's who is organizing it at the town hall? I don't know how long it stayed up. I mean, there's pictures in there from kids, like Chuck said, who probably graduated college. They're nice, they're interesting, but like what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
So give that some thought. I'll send out an email just with some kind of parameters, like a structure around it, some of the things that they're looking for help with, and we can spend some time in our next meeting talking about that.
Okay.
Make sense?
Sounds good.
Hey, I see you're having your connectivity, you're having some trouble. You might want to there you go. Just go on without the video.
The connection tonight has been terrible. I haven't been able to get up. I can hear you all. I'm here.
Right. Well, glad you're here, Nancy. Yeah, I know sometimes it gets very frustrating. Karen, do you want to talk about the banners?
Sure. Well, this time of year, they're not up because all the Christmas holiday holiday decorations are up. But I'm not sure if they run down Farmington Avenue. My collaboration called my attention to them, and I kind of didn't notice them before. There were flags on South Main Street in front of the town hall. There are flags that hang from the light poles or lamp posts, whatever you want to call them, banners, flags, and I think they advertise. It's kind of random who's up there. Maybe they have the names of the schools, something like that. But the collaboration said, why don't we have, each of us could supply the design and have them have arts and culture programs that exist in our town up on those flags, so that as you're walking along, the flag's flapping, but the West Hartford Symphony. Oh yeah. I don't know, the Art League. So we haven't brought them to our organizations to see what each organization will be willing to do, but the town has a print shop. I'm sure they make those things right in-house, maybe for a cost, but it would display the arts and culture in town, bring it more to the forefront. Every time you see something, you remember it, and maybe after 3 times, you have real good recognition, and then you start looking for it. So it's another way to put the arts and culture out in the forefront. I don't know who you talk to about that or how you could ever get that consideration going. Do they just put the same old flags up every year, or like for spring, are they going to be making new ones? And that may be an opportunity. I don't know a thing about any of it, but they are there.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure either. But if you like, I can. I'll call the town manager and inquire. I know that they, from time to time, I noticed they had some banners up for Interval House, which is an organization near and dear to my heart. So I think there's some change. They change occasionally, and they're different. I mean, the banners that you see and displays that are on Park Road are different than the ones, I'm pretty sure, that you see in the center.
It's
And I-
possible the businesses pay for them and that's how you get up there.
Yeah. So, you know what, I'm going to talk to Chris Conway first. He probably has a better idea
Okay.
about, because I wouldn't be surprised if that's a West Hartford Center Merchants in Blueback.
But then how does Interval House get up there? Unless they got sponsorship through somebody.
I don't know. We'll find out.
But there's really no central spot. You know, yeah, there's this website and that website. And I think that's more what my group was thinking about. There's really no central spot to see who are these organizations in town. You know, you read an article, for instance, for the holidays. Well, who else is here? What do we have going on? We don't have the kiosk, where, I mean, that's out there in the discussion phase. So we don't have a central spot. So that's part of it, to bring some visibility.
I like that idea, Karen.
Yeah. So if you could find out more about it, maybe we can continue the conversation, or maybe it'll evolve.
Absolutely. I'll keep it on the agenda for next meeting, and I'll reach out to Chris Conway and Matt after that if Chris doesn't have the answer. But yeah, I think that's Mirela.
I was wondering if we have any update from the town regarding the columns, Morris
Right.
columns.
That was my group also asked me to get an update. Yeah. Next one.
I had reached out to Matt right before our last meeting, and he had no update. But because I'm eager. My little pet peeve is the mural application that I've been, to make that easier for people to do public art on their buildings. But yeah, I'll follow up with him on that as well. And any other further discussion on the banners? We'll make sure we'll keep that. We'll move that up to old business, or the next meeting. The next, I had skipped over that. I'm sorry about that. But the proposed Pride art walk. I don't know if you guys know Barry Waters. He ran the Pride celebration this past June. Wonderful, wonderful guy. He is interested in doing a Pride art walk, and the idea is, and I think he's thinking of perhaps something on Park Road, where you'd have different displays along different stops on Park Road, which I think is when he first mentioned it to me, I immediately thought of either Park Road or Elmwood, because I think because their compactness and walkability really, and it's really West Hartford Center and Blueback get a lot of attention, but I think there's really some of the more creative things are going on in our neighborhood retail centers. But anyways, he is going to speak with Johnny Penderis and Tracy Plater, who both are the co-heads of the Park Road Association. And when I talked to them about it, they were very excited. So we'll see what happens with that. Perhaps this is something that would occur this coming June during Pride Month. So I'll keep you updated on that. I haven't heard back from him. We were trying to meet with Tracy and Johnny before Friday, and we couldn't. And we asked Barry if he could just come to the meeting. Park Road Association meets, I think, the third Friday of every month at 8:30 or 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. So we have a meeting this week. If any of you want to tune in, you're more than welcome to come. They do a great job. Park Road is it's my neighborhood. It's Carol's neighborhood, Latanya's neighborhood. It's pretty happening place. But I'll keep you updated as things transpire there. Does anyone have any other new business that to bring up that we can discuss at next month's meeting. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Any other questions? Concerns, suggestions? Mirela?
Yeah, so just because I wanted to mark the minutes correctly.
Yeah,
So Nancy,
yes.
Nancy, did you decide not to continue participating?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Nancy's term, and my apologies, I thought we talked about this if we hadn't, it's my fault, but Nancy's term expires at the end of this year, as did mine and Karen's. But we were told, as I shared at the previous meeting, the town, it's normal if folks want to stay on for another term, that's not a problem. There's nothing in our bylaws that say that people can't serve a second term, and we just kind of got started too.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, oh, I can't forget this. David, do you know if we have anybody on the phone that would like to participate in public comment?
We do not.
Okay. One of these days. Look at someone. All righty. Well, then, unless anybody has anything else for the good of the group or to discuss, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Any motion to adjourn? Somebody? Oh, there you go.
Sure.
Thank you. Is there a second? Carol, second. Okay. All in favor? That was unanimous. Nancy, I'm sensing your hand is up in the air.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you all, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a
Have a
nice Thanksgiving.
everybody.
Happy
guys.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Thanksgiving,
everyone.
Bye
I
bye.
hope to
Take care,
see
guys.
you next time. Bye.
Yes,
Bye.
Nancy.
Nancy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.